up and let everybody know why I'm doing this, because a lot of people say, you know, you're committing political suicide. Well, you have to realize I don't care. I really do not care. I clearly understand that I will not be in elected office forever. So I am a resident of Hawthorne first. That's what Hawthorne first means. In my life, I'm putting Hawthorne first, outside of God. Let's not get that confused. But pastors giving me hand claps. Yay! But so what I want to do is I want to make sure that whether I'm in office or not, that Hawthorne has a voice. And whether we have a Democrat or a Republican in the governor's office, that individual needs to pick up the phone when we call. I am so tired of us as a city, our power and our ability to protect you guys from our state and our county government is constantly being challenged. And we don't have a voice. Our voice has been taken away from us as an elected official. Our voice, here we go. SB 330, this is your Housing Crisis Act. Restricts cities from downsizing or limiting the number of public hearings on many housing projects. That means you don't get to come and voice your opinion on a housing project. You're silenced. And we didn't, or your local city didn't do that. Your local government did not do that. SB 9, SB 10, housing development approval. We have to fast track these projects. You may not even know they're coming, and by the time you think you have an opportunity to speak, it's already been approved because our hands are tied on the timing. Our hands are tied on the zoning. Our hands are tied on how many units. They can build corner to corner, stack and pack is what I call them, 300 units with 0 parking. 0. And that's what our elected officials are doing to us. So, political suicide? I don't think so. What I'm doing is I am involving the community in who could potentially be our next governor. Wouldn't you love that when your city officials, and if I'm not one by then, when the time comes or I get elected out or whatever, it doesn't matter. Your city manager, your city attorney, your city police chief should be able to pick up the phone and get the governor on the phone. And even if he doesn't have an answer and there's another department that takes care of that, he can point us in the right direction. You call now, cricket, cricket. Cricket, cricket. And I promise you that when we get into the general election, I will invite whoever will come and show up and speak to us. If whoever the opponent is to Sheriff Bianco, then we'll invite them. Let's see if they come. Let's see if they'll let us have a voice in them moving this state forward. So I'm tired. I am not an elected official so I can embellish my life and have a great political career and have all that influence. I am a Hawthorne resident that was fed up with the way that our city was being managed and the things that we didn't have an opportunity to speak on. And now I have a voice, and I'm your voice. I have partnered with North Hawthorne. Ruben, come on up. North Hawthorne Community Association. Trust me, there's hundreds more of those SBs and so forth that are tying our hands as city officials. But Ruben Sanchez is a leader in the community here in North Hawthorne, and him and I are partnering together to make sure that we are in a very unique opportunity right now for us as citizens and voters. There's not an incumbent, which means it's not an automatic. These guys have to fight for our vote. They have to fight. But if we don't take advantage of that, they're not gonna know who Hawthorne is. They're not gonna know who Del Aire is. They're not gonna know who the surrounding cities are. We wanna be a force to be reckoned with, because when the time comes, I want my phone call answered so that I can speak on your behalf. But right now, Ruben is speaking on you guys' behalf here in North Hawthorne. We would love to work with the other associations and bring them up because I want Hawthorne to be a powerful voice. But I'm gonna give Ruben an opportunity to speak, and let you know what his plans are for his community association.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ruben Sanchez. Started with the North Hawthorne Community Association about approximately 20 years ago. We're a small voice. We were considered to be those people from the North. That's what they used to call us back then. And we knew that we had a voice because we have a community. We have a working class. To them, they were just considered, yeah, if they vote, they matter. If they don't, they don't. But yet the homeowners, well, we started more as a homeowner association, then became a community association because we have so many renters in our site. But what we do have is a working class. They have been underrepresented for many years. Right? I can only speak from the community side. I can only speak from me going to the podium and kind of telling our council, letting them know what we need or what's going on. Because as you know, the working class, they're out there working. They're working for the city. They're working for taxes. They're working for high taxes, for the gas that is getting high. They're working for all that. We need support. As a community, we need support from our leaders. You can look around, you don't see any other leaders around here. Why? Because they're out there planning their own events. They're out there doing some other things that they feel matters to them. But when it comes to the real voice, to the real issues of the city, they kind of look the other way, or they're like, okay, well, that's up to you guys. Go to Sacramento. They start pointing fingers at everybody. They want you to be their voice in Sacramento. But yet they were elected in there in order to represent you. See, that's where the mix-up comes in the city of Hawthorne. City of Hawthorne has a lot of potential. We've all known this for many years, but no one has been up there in regards of leading this potential, because there's always a thing about, oh, there has to be a majority, it has to be, no, it has to be common sense. And you have to use common sense amongst everyone. Because if that would have been the motive, Hawthorne would be on the map. We're so close to the beach. Now we got these freeways. We're like prime location for this city to be prospering. But we don't have the representation. We have Faye that came up to me and say, hey, I like the way you speak. I like how your board members are out there, out and about, talking to the people, associating with the community. Let's do something about it. Let's put Hawthorne on the map. And I said, let's do it. Yeah, we can talk about Democrats, we can talk about Republicans. At the end, as you can see, everybody had an opportunity to be here. And Mr. Bianco came over here and says, you know what, we're going to give them a voice. I'm going to go out there and meet some new folks. And that's what we need to be doing. As Hawthorne, we have to be pushing forward. We have to know what we're doing. And I'll be clear right now. I'm not here because I'm not running for any position. Don't plan to. People always say, oh, you're going to run for council? No. I'd rather help the people. That's been my passion for many years, helping the people. I started as a trustee. Mr. Harris knows that, right? We started as a trustee, just folding chairs, listening to the people. Then from there, we all knew that North Hawthorne Community Association might have been dismantled, and that's when we decided to take over. And that's how we built North Hawthorne to be a representative, not only for North Hawthorne, but the city of Hawthorne complete. All right, so from here, where's Faye? Here we go. We're right behind you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I do just want to say and touch on a little more of what Ruben was saying. It's not about Democrat and Republican. I promise you, give me 15 minutes alone with anyone, and I will find common ground with you. We care about our children. We care about how safe our communities are. We care about $6.50, $7 gas. Because when gas is expensive, everything is expensive. You can't even go out to lunch and buy a hamburger, fries, and a drink without spending $20. And forget trying to bring somebody else with you. Hopefully they got enough money, because you ain't buying their lunch. It's just too expensive. And there's ways, and the sheriff has a lot of good ways that he's going to share with you today on what his plan is for our state. And so the Democrat and Republican thing, I think we need to drop that as a city. I am Mayor Pro Tem, nonpartisan. That means I represent everybody. So I want to hear your voice, no matter who you are. I need to hear your voice. You have a voice, but we don't have a voice as strong as it could be if we're not working together. Don't let party partisanship separate us from the fact that we want good schools. We want to have a voice in our child's life. We want to have safe neighborhoods. We want to have affordable neighborhoods. We want affordable food, lower taxes. Get out of my pocket. I work too hard. Get out of my pocket. So, amen. Amen. And I also, just for disclaimer purposes, I want you guys to know that the city of Hawthorne is not endorsing this event. We're not endorsing any candidates. This is a Mayor Pro Tem, Faye Johnson. I'm your resident. I wanted to do something for the community. The church is not endorsing this event. The pastor's sitting right here. He made this facility available to us to use because he does it for community. He wants the community to be involved. Get involved, bring somebody with you. We can't do this by ourselves. If we stand together, our voice is stronger. And Pastor, would you like to come up and say a couple of words? It's not a sermon now, come on now. Not a sermon.
That's the wrong thing to give.
Where's the off switch on this mic?
Now, any of y'all know, if you give me the microphone, I might just pull it one just quick second in here. No, we're here about community. And we're here about making our community stronger, vibrant, and prosperous. If we take care of the least of them, that makes our community that much stronger. And so I just want to thank each and every one of you for coming out to listen, to be attentive, to be present. I thank Brother Chad for coming out and sharing with us, making himself available so they can share his message of hope for our state. And I just hope that each and every one of you will get 10 people to vote this coming election. Amen? Yes.
Wow, did we get that on video? That's probably the shortest he's ever done. But we love him very much. We love what he does in our community. I could not, it would take the whole time to list all the programs that he has started in this community and is doing for families and husbands and fathers and families. It's just crazy what he does. And we're working on another project actually in collaboration with the city, turning this whole area into a resilience center. Yes. And so that is going to be on the docket for our city council meeting on Tuesday. So if you're not able to attend our city council, you can actually watch it live on YouTube. Just Google or do the thing and search for Hawthorne City Council meetings and pull up the live show. You can watch it live. It's pretty entertaining. It gets Jerry Springer-like sometimes. And yes, that's my fault. Thank you very much. I don't know how to just let some things slide. Sometimes you got to say something. But without further ado, I want to bring up our speaker today. This is Sheriff Chad Bianco. He's a proven leader whose life has been dedicated to service. For more than 3 decades, he has protected California families and stood shoulder to shoulder with the men and women who keep our communities safe. Rising from academy honors to lead one of America's largest sheriff's department, Chad earned a reputation of clear-eyed, decision-making, fiscal responsibility, and results, stabilizing budgets, rebuilding partnerships with local agencies, and strengthening staffing while navigating crisis from civil unrest to natural disasters. And we all know about all that. Chad is committed to a safer, stronger California for the next generation. He believes every child should grow up in a community where streets are safer, schools are excellent. Thank you, Gloria. And honors and kudos to one of our school board members here, Gloria Ramos. Yay! She's like, don't do that to me. And families can afford to build a future. That's why he has championed common sense public safety, accountability in government, and policies that support small businesses and working families. On the campaign trail, he and his wife, Denise, have traveled the length of our state, listening to parents, first responders, farmers, job creators, bringing their concerns into a plan focused on practical solutions rather than politics. And that's so important. Rooted in faith, family, and service, Chad is running for governor to restore the promise of California. Real opportunity, responsible leadership, and respect for the people who call this place home. His commitment is to Californians who deserve a government worthy of their hard work and a state that works for them. Let us welcome Sheriff Chad Bianco.
Okay, I'll use this one. Thank you, everyone. I think it's important, I'm not going to go over, but to reemphasize what has already been set up here by two people who, quite honestly, I can tell, I mean, I've only met him once, I've met her several times, and neither one of them care about politics. They care about all of you. They care about the word that's been used up here numerous times, community. Even the pastor used the word community. And community is not about who you vote for or what party you're registered to, because that is not the community. That's a division of the community. And when we start believing in politics and we start voting on politics and political ideology and agenda, you really lose a minimum of half of your community. And you're no longer talking to half of the community. You're just talking to one part of it that you hope is a little bit bigger to get you voted in. So for those that, when I first met Faith, I mean, I didn't know what side of the aisle she was on, but from the very beginning, it was obvious that she was in the position that she is, and she's fighting for the position that she is in for the people that she represents, and that's the people that live in her community. And so when I talk about California, you have to truly believe me that I'm talking about California. When I win, of course, I am going to win this election for Republican conservative beliefs, but I'm also winning it for Democrat beliefs. And I'm also winning it for the people who don't consider themselves any party, the no party preference, and the independents. Because my entire campaign from the very beginning hasn't been about political party. I have repeatedly said over and over and over that I'm not doing this for a party. I'm doing this for Californians. And those Californians are the community. We are a community of California for the rest of the United States. And that's how we have to think about it. And just fitting a little bit, because we're in a church here, community is what makes us whole. And community was not started by North Hawthorne or Los Angeles or Riverside. Community was started by the church. The church is about community. Life, success, involves us being involved and interacting with community. And I think that where we are in our political world today has been taken from us by an overreaching state that is purposely trying to remove the community from us. And by removing the community from us, you remove the church from us, and then we start fighting about things that really don't matter. And I want to point out something. I've known this for a long time, but I didn't really associate it or think about it until yesterday when someone said it. But it's fitting for being in the church right now. Our federal constitution is probably what we all know that, but we all know the preamble to the U.S. Constitution. So we could probably recite it. But how many of you know the state of California's preamble? They actually, I'm going to tell you, they haven't. They may think you want you to believe that it's changed, and they don't want you to remember this, because if we would go back to how our state was founded, we might be able to save us quicker than you really think. Because the preamble to the California Constitution is even a little bit more community-based than the federal preamble to the Constitution. And the preamble to the California Constitution says, We, the people of the state of California, and now get this, this is the forming document of our state of California. We, the people of the state of California, grateful to Almighty God. That's our Constitution. And then it continues, greatly to Almighty God for our freedom, in order to secure and perpetuate its blessings, the blessings of freedom, we established this Constitution. And how many of you believe that we are free to do what we want in California today? I mean, Faith has already mentioned it on a city council and the city wanting to make the city better. Did I say something wrong? Faye. Did I say Faith? I'm sorry, I'm stuck in church. Faye. Thank you. What we have to think about is what she was actually saying about the loss of control from what she has as a city council and what they have as a city council. The state has taken that away from them. You are electing your city officials to run your city what's best for Hawthorne. And the state is taking it away from her. It's taking it away from them. And it's all across California. What you may not want, you may not need, and it may be detrimental for you to have corner-to-corner, high-density apartment buildings. It may be okay for you to have that. But the state can't mandate that every single place do that when it could be detrimental to certain communities. And that control, that availability for you to elect local officials has been taken away from you by an overreaching state that has truly taken away the freedom of your city council to manage your city, how it should be run, how you believe it should be run. And unfortunately for all of us, and she and I were talking about this before we came in here, what she is going through is what law enforcement has been going through for a long time. You all believe that law enforcement is not doing everything we can to help you. We don't show up to your calls. We come out and we find the suspect and we just let them go. And we're not doing anything to keep you safe and keep you secure. And the city officials, you're coming to your city councils and you're angry at them for not taking care of you and not doing the right thing and putting these buildings in that you don't want. And the reality is it's completely out of our control. We're being forced to do it by a state government that kind of has really, really overreached and taken away from us. So ultimately, in the end, that's a massive, massive, major reason why I'm doing this in the first place. Because I believe that Californians are no longer represented in state government. Our state government is not operating and managing its affairs for Californians. It's a special interest group. It's a lobbyist firm. It's who has the most money. It's who has the most influence. And we are all suffering those consequences. So the fact that we are all coming to meetings like this, the fact that we are all going to city councils and we're standing up, and social media people are standing up left and right all over the place for what is best for their families, their communities, their towns, their counties, and what they believe their state. We're getting tired of the people that are taking advantage of us, that forgot about community, that forgot about the responsibility of local government, and have just been a little bit overreaching. So ultimately, that's kind of why I'm doing this. So I'm going to kind of keep it short about what California government should look like, and I'm going to make sure that I leave plenty of time for any questions that you all may have. A tiny little bit about me. Riverside County Sheriff's Office is a large organization. I am the second largest sheriff's office next to Los Angeles, and I'm the fourth largest sheriff's office in the country. The reason why I'm telling you this is I want you to think about who's going to be the most qualified person to be your next governor, to run our state government, which we know might be a little bit broken, and we might have to fix a few things. So I have just short of 4,500 employees. I have 5 jail facilities that I operate that have about 4,100 inmates on a daily basis. I have 13 different patrol stations that manage 17 contract cities. So in addition to being the sheriff of Riverside County with the board of supervisors and representing the residents of Riverside County, I also have 17 city councils, 17 mayors, 17 city managers that I have to interact with. You think your Tuesday evenings are busy? It's a little much. So it's a massive organization. I have 16 courthouses that I'm responsible for. I'm the coroner. I'm also the public administrator, and my budget is $1.3 billion per year. I finish in the black every single year because I do not believe that government is supposed to be spending more money than it has. When's the last time California government believed that? It's been probably, yes, it's been a lot of years. They just keep taking more of your money to make up the difference. Imagine this. Imagine you walk into your boss and you say, hey, look, I spent way too much money this month. You got to give me some more. My check's is not gonna pay my bills, so you need to pay me $800 more this month. How would that work out for you? It wouldn't work out for any of us. So why does it work out for the legislature? Why does it work out for the governor? Because they have realized they'll just take your money from you anytime they want it, and there is nothing that reins their spending in. We have been repeatedly told over and over and over that California is the 4th largest economy in the world. What I want you to believe and what I want you to think about is that may be impressive, and Governor Newsom says it all the time. When we talk about the economy in California, it needs to get better. And he's like, you don't, that's just Trump talking. That's, blame everything on someone else. And he will repeatedly say, we don't have a problem here. We're the 4th largest economy in the world. Well, think about this. China is the number 2 economy. Does anybody want to live in China? The people in China are trying to get here. The size of your economy is absolutely nothing. How about we start talking about really what we have here? The size of our economy is fantastic because we generate $4 trillion a year. That actually makes us rich. Then why do we have nearly 16 million people in poverty? Why do we have the highest poverty rate in the country? Why do we have the highest unemployment rate in the country? Why do we have the most homeless living on our streets of anywhere else in the country? Why do we have the highest taxes in the country? Why do we have the most regulations in the country? When you really start talking about our state, being the 4th largest economy isn't that cool anymore. It means absolutely nothing. It just means we work our butts off here, and California's not helping us. And they're very, very proud of being the number 4th or the number 5th largest. We were number 5. We're actually number 5 right now because there was a time a year ago that we became number 4. Not because we did something different. It was because Japan failed. And Japan panicked when they failed. And they made massive, massive changes to the way they were running their economy. And it only took them 10 months before they overtook us again. I want to know why we're comfortable with number 4. I'm a very competitive person. I want to be number 3. Why can't we be number 2? Technically, if you look at what California has, we could be number 2. Because number 2 is China, number 3 is Germany. We can overtake them. Number 4 is Japan, and we're number 5. We already know that we can be number 4. If we would become self-reliant in California, which is what we're going to do as governor, and I'm going to explain this to you, how we're going to make it work, we are going to be number 2. My goal is to make us number 2. China is the world supplier of most things. But why? We've allowed it to happen. What I'm going to do is make us reliant on California, and we will make California rich. Right now, one of the biggest issues, we're going to talk about government and what it should be and my priorities and everything else, but I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to go to the biggest issue in California right now, and it's the cost of living. The cost of living is double the rest of the country. The cost of living in California is what is making us go paycheck to paycheck. It's what's forcing our businesses to move to other states. It's what's forcing our younger generation to move to other states for their state dream because the California dream is no longer attainable. We have to get back to where the California dream is the best dream in the country, to where people from other states want to come here for the California dream, and we can do it. But we have to eliminate the cost of living. And when you realize how easy it's going to be for me to lower the cost of living, you're going to be, number 1, shocked. Number two, you're going to love me for getting in this position and doing it. And then you're also going to be angry that we got to this position and it would be so easy to fix. So how do you lower the cost of living? There are only certain drivers, 3, 4, 5 drivers that increase the cost of living. Number one is the cost of gasoline. Gasoline is more expensive in California by double than anywhere else in the country. And everything that we do revolves around gas. Transportation of goods and services, transportation of us, everything is about transportation. So if you lower the cost of gasoline, you lower the cost of living automatically. Right now, we import 80% of the oil that we use in California from other countries, particularly the Middle East and South America, Venezuela. We are making the Middle East countries rich just off of our backs, and we get zero benefit from it. The bad part of buying from other countries is it costs 5 times more to get that oil than if we would do it ourselves. And then the good part for California is in one county alone, Kern County alone, and this is, I'm not even counting Monterey, Ventura, Santa Barbara. I'm just talking about Kern County alone. Kern County alone has more oil than we could ever use in California in 1,000 lifetimes. We will never, ever, ever run out of oil, and that's just if we use Kern counties. With me as your governor, we will be 100% oil independent in this state. We will no longer buy from other countries, making them rich. We will use our own oil, which in turn makes California rich. That's what Texas does. That's what Alaska does. That's what the Dakotas do, and that's what we will do. And how that works is every time an oil company takes oil from the ground, they pay a fee to the state. That's just the cost of doing business. That's how it works. So we are going to generate that money from the oil industry by saving money from buying from other countries. And here's the part where California, they throw out the fear factor, and they want you thinking with fear, which makes you not think with reason. And they want you to believe that it's going to destroy the environment. Well, the fact of California oil industry and including the refinery industry we are the cleanest and safest in the entire world. By far, it's not even close. We are the cleanest and safest for the environment in the entire world. So if we have that automatically already in California, why are we buying it from the Middle East, which is the absolute worst for the environment in the world? It's not about the environment. It's not about saving the planet. It's about control, and it's about an agenda, an ideological agenda that we are going to remove. We will be oil independent, but we're also going to be wood independent, wood products independent. Decades ago, we eliminated the logging industry from California. So we buy all of our wood products and our paper products from Canada, making Canada rich instead of California. If we bought it from California, if we utilized our own natural resources, the biggest benefit we have is the proper management of our forests. We wouldn't lose millions and millions of acres every single year to fire if we managed our forests correctly. And then again, we generate revenue for the state by using our natural resources. Here's the biggest one. When I'm talking about how are we going to beat China, how are we going to be number 2? Riverside County and Imperial County, right on the border, it splits us. Half of it's in Riverside. I think it's actually a little bit more is in Imperial, but part of it is in Riverside County. They have discovered the largest lithium deposit in the world. When you mine lithium, all of the rest of the rare earth elements that we need for everything, electronics, no matter what we do, our cars, everything involves rare earth elements and lithium. China controls the world. China supplies the world with rare earth elements and lithium. And we have more of it than they do. Currently, the state is preventing us from using it. If we mined that lithium and the rare earth elements, we could supply the world instead of China, and we would be wealthy. So when you do those 3 things, you manage California, you manage our resources, and you utilize them to generate revenue for the state. The best part about me being your governor and the quality of life and the cost of living, yes, we're going to lower gas. Yes, we're going to lower groceries. Yes, we're going to do a lot of other things, but this is the biggest one. One of the main cost of drivers of the cost of living in California is your taxes, the amount of taxes you pay. With me as your governor, you will not be paying a California state income tax. I am going to manage this state for what is best for all of Californians, not for special interest groups, not for environmentalist groups, not for lobbyists, not for people that are paying all the money in Sacramento. I'm doing it for you and your quality of life. I am going to make it so it is easy to live here. You can work as hard as you want, and you are going to achieve all that you want, because California government is going to get out of the way. We will save our economy. We will drive our economy. I will remove, so if any business owners in here, so you love California. California is the least business-friendly state in the entire country. The least business-friendly. We have, just on California's books, on top of regulations from the federal government, we have over 400,000 regulations on businesses. Imagine that. 400,000 regulations on businesses. If you ask a business owner why they left California, the answer is excessive taxes and overbearing, over-controlling regulations. They just can't operate their business anymore. That's why they're leaving. So common sense would tell you, let's lower the taxes and let's eliminate the regulations. And here's the beautiful thing. I am going to make California the most business-friendly in the state, and I'm going to do it with a signature. Because every single regulation that is on the books that is destroying our oil industry, causing our gas prices to be $6, $7, $8 a gallon. This is not President Trump. Whether you like him or not, do not fall for the argument that he caused the gas prices to be so high. Because I remember just 6 months ago, we were still $3 more than Arizona. We were still the highest in the country. It is government imposed here. It's government caused here, and we're going to fix it. I'm going to make your life easier. You're going to, when I give you your taxes back, I guarantee every single one of you can spend your money more responsibly than the state government. And I'm going to let you spend it. I'm going to let you have your money back. I'm going to let you stimulate the economy. All of the businesses that we bring in to the state of California, the ones that left and the ones that want to come here anyway, they're going to bring not only their businesses, they're going to bring jobs. And when they bring those jobs, they have to compete for the workers, so they increase the wages that they're willing to pay those workers. That's how you stimulate the economy. And fortunately, there are other states that are proving that. There are 10 states in the country that don't tax their residents. 10, and all 10 are thriving. I don't have to tell you which 10 they are. Just think for a second where your friends and family are moving to. Those are the 10 states. And we have to bring all those people back, their businesses, and most importantly, we have to stop our kids and our grandkids from wanting to leave this state. We know that it's the greatest state in the country. We just have to get it back from the state government that forgot that we were the ones that were supposed to be in control of our government and supposed to be in control of our own lives. So the cost of living is huge, and we're going to bring that down to one of the most manageable in the country. We're going to give you your money back, and we are going to be able to live easily again in California. So one of the other issues of cost of living is insurance, electricity, water, all of those things. How many of you in here had your electric rates raised last year? Almost all of you. There was probably about a quarter of you that didn't raise your hand. That just means that your spouse pays your bill. Because everybody's electric rates got raised. And then here's something else. Every single one of you lost power last year. The power company turned your power off for whatever amount of time. Whether it was scheduled in a brownout or a blackout, or whether it was accidental for whatever reason. California, the greatest state in the country, doesn't have a power grid that can supply power to Californians. They don't. And instead of doing it, instead of making it happen, they just keep raising your rates so they can make profits. The three that run California are PG&E up north, SCE here, and San Diego Gas and Electric down there. Between the three of them, they made nearly $7 billion of profit last year. $7 billion in profit for shareholders all across the country. So all of you got your rates raised so people in the rest of the country could be rich. It's unbelievably greedy. But here's the thing that I want you to know. This is why, this is part of the reason, not just the oil, not just the lithium, not just the wood, not just the no taxes. This is another reason why the people in Sacramento do not want me there. Because I know what's broken, I know how easy it's going to be to fix, and I know, you know, they know that I'm taking the power away that they have and giving it back to all of you. I started thinking about something else. What was I talking about? The best part of my campaign is Denise, my wife Denise. What was I just talking about? The electric rates. Good grief. So here's the thing about the power company. This is what they don't want you to know, because they keep blaming the SCE, the PGE. You guys, I guarantee you don't like them, those dastardly power companies. Do you know that the power companies have absolutely zero ability to raise your rates? They can't raise your rates. It's the state of California that raises your rates. The state of California has complete authority over all of the power companies. And they repeatedly raise your rates while they repeatedly fail to force them to upgrade their infrastructure to provide you power, to provide you cheaper power, and to provide you power that doesn't get shut off. We are going to fix that with me as your governor from the very, very beginning. So not only does the state have the power to raise your rates anytime they want, here's the good thing for me, the bad thing for them. I can also lower it anytime I want. So when I take over, the first thing I'm going to do is cut your power bill, whether it's your business or your home, or both, a minimum in half. A minimum in half. Just with the stroke of a pen. We're still going to allow them to make a little bit of profit because they're going to use the other half, the other third, the other little bit more than a third to upgrade their infrastructure. Not only the lines that need to be buried, not only to stop causing the fires that they're causing, but to move toward a better, more reliable, cheaper, environmental friendly power supply, and that is nuclear. It is not wind and solar. We'll utilize it because they put it out there already. But it's natural gas, it's water, it's hydroelectric, and eventually we will move to nuclear. Nuclear is the most efficient, it is the most powerful, it is the cheapest, and it is the most friendly for the environment. And strangely enough, California had nuclear power plants that they've decommissioned. It makes absolutely no sense. And when it doesn't make sense, you have to realize they're not dumb people. If it doesn't make sense to all of us and common sense and reason, that means that there's an ulterior motive, that they're doing it on purpose. They're doing it for control. Along with electricity is the same thing as water. The state of California is suffering statewide from a lack of water. Fortunately for us, and there's some older people in here, so bear with me here. I don't care how long you've been here. Never has California suffered from a drought. We've never had a drought in California. We get more rain and snow every single year than any other state in the country. And by design, by law, and by regulation, a minimum of 70% of that water is purposely routed straight to the ocean, so we can't use it. We don't have a water problem in California, and we have never had a water problem in California. We have a water management problem in California. But if you look at it at a different perspective, it's purposely managed the way they want it so they have control of your water. The only reason you believe we have had it suffered a drought is so they could control your rates and they could control the supply. The farming community in California at one point supplied 90% of the food to the entire United States. 90% came from California, and we are down to 60% right now. We will get it back up to 90 because I will make sure that the water that we have is, I mean, this is common sense. The water that falls every single year, if you're going to send it to the ocean, it's gone. If you save it, it's always here. If you build the dams and reservoirs that we need, then you save the surface water. You provide the surface water to our farming communities all across the state, 100% of the water that they need, because that water eventually it doesn't go into the plants. It waters the plants, but it sinks down into the ground. It fills the aquifers that we drink from. That's where our water comes from. So if you manage it correctly by giving it to the farmers, flooding the surface so it sinks down, then you provide that water. This is going on a little bit, but this is important for Los Angeles because we don't have all of the snow and rain that the northern and central and northern California gets. So a lot of our water gets brought down from Northern California, or we are the biggest user of the Colorado River system, the Colorado River water that we provide, especially Los Angeles. Metropolitan Water District is the largest water district in the entire world, supplies water to half of California. I just met with them a little bit ago, and he was talking to me about saving water from runoff, stormwater runoff. And I'm like, well, why don't we? And he's like, that's a good question. And he pointed out to me all of the basins that we see along the cement rivers that we have all through here. You drive by and you see these big pits or these massive things, and they're all dry, and you wonder what they're for. And you say, I wonder why they don't fill them up. They want to fill them up, but the state of California prevents it. And they prevent it through regulation. So I asked him, I'm like, why don't you just fill them up when it rains? Why is all the water going straight to the ocean? And he said, because the state of California requires me to get a permit to turn that valve. And the permit takes 3 months. So when it rains and we see all that water running down the rivers that we have here, it's purposely going to hit the ocean because we're waiting for 3 months for a permit to turn it on. And we know in Southern California how it works. What does it rain here for, 8 days? It's government control, and I'm going to give it back. Water, and the water is also used to control expansion of our cities. You don't get to build a house because there's not enough water. Water is how you control people, and I'm going to give it back to you. We're no longer going to have a state-controlled water system. We're going to have a state-managed system, a water district-managed system, so all of us have the water that we need. We're going to utilize our ability to be self-sufficient in California, and we can do it as long as we have the right person there. So that's really how your life is going to be better, but how is government going to be different with me as your governor? And it's very, very simple. It's priorities. What is government's priorities? The number one priority of any government is law enforcement. It's keeping us safe. All of those things that I've just laid out to you that sound so great, the cheapest gas, no taxes, all of those things, if you are afraid to be in your house, or if you are afraid to let your kids outside, or to go to school, or to go to the grocery store at night, you're not going to want to live in California. We have to make California safe. Crime has to be a crime again. We have to open up all the prisons that have been closed in the last 7 years. We need to put criminals behind bars if they're going to victimize us. That's how you have a civilized society. So public safety has to be number one. Number two is infrastructure. We've already talked about that. Roadways, waterways, electricity, all of those things. Number three is education. We have failed an entire generation of our kids, maybe even 2 generations, because we no longer teach them how to think. We no longer teach them how to stimulate that intelligence. We no longer teach them how to be productive members of society when they leave school. That has to come back. What I will promise you as your governor, a little shameless plug before I say, you're going to have to vote for me as governor to make all this happen. But in this particular line, I need massive help, and you get to pick who runs our school systems. And it absolutely, your vote has to go to Sonia Shaw. Sonia Shaw has to be elected as superintendent of schools. She is a warrior mom who is fighting for hers and our kids. So as the governor, in addition to all of that, in the direction of our school agenda system and making kids smart, teaching them how to think instead of what to think, that's important. We absolutely, I will guarantee you that in every single school district across the state, we will inject and make sure we put back the introduction of trades into our education system. We will teach kids how to be productive. If you need to for your career or you want to go to college for an education, that's great. But if you don't, why should you be saddled with $200,000 worth of debt instead of just learning how to use your hands and be an electrician, a plumber, a welder, something that stimulates the economy, so the workers that we need in this country? We absolutely have stopped teaching kids to do that. If you think about it, you had that availability when you were a kid. We have to give that back so we can be productive. Personally, as the governor, I will make sure, and as a sheriff, as a dad, as a cop, I will absolutely make sure that there is never again a boy in your daughter's locker room. They won't compete against them in sports, and absolutely, your grandkids, your kids, or your future kids are not going to have to be vaccinated to get them into classrooms. So that's what California could look like. California could look like a much cheaper place to live, a much freer place to live, a much safer place to live. That California dream can be attainable once again. It's right in front of us. It's being dangled right in front of us. And we have to snatch it, we have to hold it tight, and we have to never, ever, ever let it go again. And we have to bring California back to the state where everyone wants to come to, that everybody admires, that everybody wants to live in, and no one wants to leave anymore. All you have to do is walk outside. There is nothing better than California. I'm going to finish by this, and we're going to go to questions. How many of you believe that California is broken? Okay, that's all right. I did as of a couple of weeks ago, but I changed my mind because I realized none of you are broken. Our churches are not broken. Our businesses are not broken. Our teachers really aren't broken. Our law enforcement is not broken. Nothing is really broken in California except for 130 people that run our state government in California. There are 40 million people in California, and there are 130 that run state government. 90 of them are in the Democrat Party. They have a supermajority of everything, including the governor's office. So I don't think California is broken. I think what's broken is our pickers when we're choosing the elected officials to send to Sacramento. And we have to start choosing a little bit better. And some of them that are there, we have to make sure they get out. It's Sacramento politics that's harming California. It's not any of us. I think that if we were left to our own devices, we would again be the greatest country the greatest state in our country, and we can do it. And that's what I'm going to offer you. I've done it already in Riverside County. I'm going to take the same mentality of working hard every single day for every single one of you to make your lives easier. So I appreciate your support. I appreciate your effort. Thank you all for voting. I'll go to questions before I close with the... We'll go to...
Not yet.
Okay, some of the problem that I have, and so I'll blame, it's my fault. We have other things that we have to get to today, so the questions are going to be kept. I think the questions have already been asked.
Right.
We have them here, and
Right.
we'll get through as many as we possibly can.
Okay, we ask that you guys be patient because your question is probably going to be answered. We have Liz that's going to be asking the questions. Everybody had an opportunity to fill out a question card when you were signing in. I will get you one. And We've had a chance to look them over and try to combine some of them that were similar to each other, and we're going to go from there.
Hello? Hello?
Harold.
Oh, sorry, I don't know if that's so sorry. Thank you. Okay. Hello? Okay, there we go. Okay, hi everyone. Okay, so here's the first question. If you are governor and the state legislature passes a bill that conflicts with the Second Amendment or our ability to conceal carry, would you veto it?
Time. Hello, hello, hello. Was that working? Does this one work? It's on. Oh, he did tell me that. Actually, is that sounding loud? Something's working. Okay, good. I'll just stand right here.
Okay, thank you. And then the next question, what laws currently on the books that are restricting our Second Amendment rights would you work to overturn or change?
Well, funny question for that is every single one of them. Because as a 30-year law enforcement professional, I can tell you that there is not one gun law, not one single gun law that keeps you safe. It really doesn't. The bottom line is criminals don't care about laws. Murder is illegal. Possession of a gun, do you think they care? And the CCWs that law enforcement issues, when you come apply to carry a concealed weapons permit, I can promise you this, I have not prevented one crime by denying a CCW. Some guy's not sitting in his apartment with his buddies and says, you know what, we can't rob the liquor store because the sheriff didn't approve my CCW. Gun laws are only meant to keep law-abiding people from having or obtaining guns or from carrying guns and those types of things. So there are many on the books that are unconstitutional on their face. They've just never been challenged. We will get rid of them immediately. And then others we will work to repeal. We will make it easier for you to protect yourself. And I want to emphasize, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, the question was your constitutional rights. It's very, very important to know what the Bill of Rights even is. The first 10 amendments to the Constitution. Those were not rights given to you by the government. Those were given to you by God. They were preordained before the Constitution. They are unalienable rights that you were entitled to from God. The right to self-protection, the right to protect yourself, and then that wrapped into protecting yourself from a tyrannical government was why the Second Amendment was put in there. And we will honor that.
Next question, thank you. The California state sanctuary policies, what is your position? How would you change those as governor?
Yes, we are going to get rid of sanctuary state policy because it does nothing to protect anyone in this state other than criminals. The criminals who end up in jail, the only thing sanctuary state does is it forces me to release them back into the community so they can victimize you again. Sanctuary state makes it to where if I release a criminal in my jail who's also in the country illegally, if I release them to the federal government, I can be arrested and removed from office. If one of your police officers or one of your sheriff's deputies even asks someone if they're in the country illegally, it's an automatic $25,000 fine. Mandatory civil penalty to that officer. Sanctuary state is harming us. And sanctuary state is what is causing immigration officials to go into our community to what you see on TV. And this is what I need to promise you and tell you, and you have to believe me. Governor Brown is the one that signed it at the time. Some of our legislators are still there that put SB 54 into place. That's what made us a sanctuary state. Law enforcement leaders, particularly sheriffs, told them exactly what was going to happen if they signed this into law. We specifically told them that if you force us to release these people into the community, The federal government is going to have to go into the community to get them. And when that happens, there are going to be other people that get wrapped up in it that weren't necessarily committing crimes, but they happened to be standing next to them when they got arrested. They did it on purpose. They said they don't care. Now that you have to think, that must be what they really even wanted. Because now they are using it as a political tool, as an emotional tool to get us all fired up and hating each other, hating the federal government, hating immigration, hating ICE. And the reality of this is this. No one cared anything about it before 2017 when we made it a sanctuary state. And then other states followed. No one ever thought about or cared about immigration up until that time because it worked fine. Coming into the jail and getting criminals and deporting them is what's supposed to happen. Sanctuary state is an absolute horrific thing that is harming our state, harming our community, and it's pitting us against each other based on a lot, and it has to go away. Yes.
Thank you. Next question. What would you do to protect California families from losing their generational homes due to taxes?
Yeah, so that's a good one. Prop 13 we put in place a long time ago, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that we not only protect Prop 13, but we secure it to make sure that disingenuous politicians can't keep attacking it. But here's how they're going to attack it and how they're working. They're lying to you when you vote for propositions. You have to realize that. So Prop 13 was a law that you all put into place. The politicians in Sacramento can't change that because you put it into place. So there are going to be two propositions, we don't know their numbers yet, that are going to be on your ballot in November. And they're intentionally made to weaken Prop 13 because you have to be the ones that weaken it. We're going to get the information out there to make sure you vote the right way, but you lied to about what you were voting for. The last one was Prop 19. Prop 19 sounded good, they lied to you, but when you voted for it, that's why if we die and we leave our houses or our property to our kids, that's why our kids can't afford it, because the taxes that we made into a law are astronomical, and that's why we're losing it. That generational wealth that you work so hard for to give to your kids is being stripped away from them by excessive taxes. They can't afford it. And we have to make sure, I as the governor will put that back on the ballot, and I'm going to be honest to you about what it is. We're going to repeal the last Prop 19 so that horrific thing goes away. And we're going to allow ourselves to work as hard as we possibly want to give to our kids, to give to our grandkids, and not have it taken by the state.
Got my vote.
So here's the next one. To make true change as an elected official, you need to serve more than one term. That said, you must continue to win over your constituents and be an agent of change. What is your plan to do this? We are eager to support you in your efforts, so your thoughts on this are important to hear.
I'm going to tell you that I'm the only person on the ballot that's been elected to 2 terms at the executive level of government. I'm the highest elected official in Riverside County. The sheriff and the DA are tied. We are the highest elected officials in each of your counties. I did such a good job in my first term, the county of Riverside gave me another term. And based on polling, they're going to give me a 3rd and a 4th and a 5th and a 6th and everything else. It's because everything that I tell you I'm doing, I'm going to do. And everything that I'm going to do is for all of you, not anyone else, any particular ideological agenda, special interest, or anything else. And after I do all of the things that I said I was going to do, lower your taxes, lower your gas, if you all don't vote for me for a 2nd term, I think we're all going to be moving somewhere else. You're going to vote for me for a 2nd term.
Thank you. Next question. How do you feel about the IHSS program?
Yeah, so that is probably one of our most important programs that we have in the social services circle, because the IHSS is in-home health care for families that have to stay home and care for a physically disabled dependent. And to say that we are not going to help those people is someone that doesn't have a heart or compassion. That is what government was designed for. The social service programs that we have are no different than the stewardship and the help that we have from our churches. That's what we were designed to do, is help other people. And those types of government services are exactly where it's supposed to be. There is tons of waste, fraud, and abuse in that, where people are taking advantage of those situations. We have to enforce that to make sure that they are not stealing our money. And then when you realize all of that massive amounts of money that's not being stolen now we have available to give to the families that actually need it, there is absolutely zero reason to ever stop those programs or to stop that funding from going to those families. And I will not only not do it, I will make sure that there is no way to do it in the future.
Governor Newsom gave Planned Parenthood $90 million in February. And sorry, I'm having trouble reading this. And the what? And the ones using, and the ones using that money for the election candidate. Is there anything you can do at this time?
Yeah, so we have to realize that the governor is the most important person that you can elect. And the governor has the most power in the state. And the governor controls the money. The governor controls the budget. It's not called the treasurer's budget. It's called the governor's budget. And I can tell you this, there will not be your taxpayer money going to fund abortion.
Yes.
The argument, the big argument, is that there are women or families that can't afford to have kids. Well, the money should be going to make it easier for them to be able to afford to have kids. Why aren't we addressing that issue? Why aren't we addressing the issue of broken homes, of no dad in the family? Why aren't we putting money toward helping young women or young couples have that baby, raise that baby, give them their taxes back so they actually have more money? Lower the cost of living so that's not an issue. It's a fake issue to begin with, but it's something that I'll combat them with all day long. But we will also, we're certainly not doing that. And we will make sure that we bring back that God part of how society is supposed to function. And part of that is bringing back the importance of the family.
I realize that you might have answered some of
That's
these,
okay.
so if you could just go a little bit more into detail, please. Thank you. I'm a California native and watched the homeless problem, drug epidemic, undocumented immigration, and housing crisis impact my beautiful state. What issue do you feel is the most important to try and fix, and how do you plan to do it?
Yeah, so the most important is we have to be honest about what this is, and those are two different things. We have a housing crisis and an affordability crisis, and then over here, we have a drug addiction and mental health crisis that is causing these people to live on the street. But the reality is this, and we have to all get on the same page here. Stop calling it homeless. This has nothing to do with homes. Homes were used because psychologically we feel sorry for someone that doesn't have the place to live. The reality is every single one of them had a place to live. They lost their place to live because of their drug and alcohol addiction, their mental health conditions, and then their mental health condition that was exacerbated by drug and alcohol use. That's what we see on the streets, and that's what has to end. So the first part of this is I will end what you see on the street with all of these people living on the street. I will end it within 2 years. Whoa. Within 2 years. You almost gave us the tools to get the majority of it done by passing Prop 36. But the governor's budget won't give us the money for the mental health treatment, the drug and alcohol treatment, and most importantly, this is a big one, and I want to tell you again, they're not dumb people there. This is all done on purpose. The most important thing I have to do is repeal a law from 2013 that says that you can't treat mental illness and drug and alcohol addiction at the same time. That's what we're really suffering for. And the state in 2013 made it illegal to treat mental illness and drug and alcohol addiction at the same time. Then in 2014, they made drugs legal. So you tell me that this wasn't purposely created.
The people that are suffering on the street are pawns for a money laundering scheme of the homeless industrial complex. And I am going to end the homeless industrial complex on day one. Every single bit of the money that's going to it stops. We will use a small portion of that money for drug and alcohol treatment centers, mental health treatment centers, and the treatment centers that treat both. I will end it within 2 years because I have 33 years of dealing with these people on the street constantly. I spent 2.5 years in downtown Riverside every single day talking to the homeless people every single day. I knew their names, I knew their families' histories, I knew where they came from. We had great conversations, and then 2 hours later, they didn't know who I was because of drugs and alcohol. We have to start treating this for what it is. Drugs are killing our communities, and we have to admit that again, and we have to start combating it. So now the housing issue. The housing crisis is completely separate, and it is also government created. I mentioned earlier about regulations. Regulations, every single regulation in the state can be signed away by the governor, and I'm going to do it as soon as I get sworn in. For days, it will just be removing regulations. So the housing problem is twofold. It's too expensive to buy a home, and there's not enough homes. And now you're going to hear why. Because the current regulatory environment in the state of California prevents builders from building homes that we can afford. The reason why they don't build affordable housing is because they can't afford to build affordable housing. You can ask any builder, whether it's a single-family home or someone that builds entire communities, a minimum of 1/3, depending on the location, it could be higher, but a minimum of 1/3 of the price of a new home is strictly to recover the fees that government charges to build it. So the median price home in California is $900,000. It's like $880,000. The rest of the country, $400,000. But you look at that $900,000 home. A minimum of 1/3 of that cost is just so the builder can recover the fees that they had to pay to build it. So it should only be $600,000, maybe even a little bit less. And here's the thing with a builder right now. 12 years ago, in 2012, did I add that right? So it's 14 years ago, sorry. In 2012, if you made $100,000, if a family made $100,000, they could afford to buy 76% of the homes that were for sale in California. Today, if you make $100,000, you can afford to buy 4% of the homes that are for sale. The reason why there are no homes is because the only homes that builders can afford to build are for the wealthy people. Those are the homes that are being built right now. It's for people that well off, that can afford a well-off home, and so they're building them and they're selling them. But we don't have enough. We need like 3 million more homes being built. And it's not 3 million $2 million mansions. We need 3 million $250,000 homes. That's what we need. Single-family homes. The American dream, the California dream, is about owning your own home, creating generational wealth that we talked about before, and we're being prevented from getting it. Removing those regulations from our building industry, and it's going to be big and it's going to be easy. How many have heard of CEQA? California Coastal Commission, CARB. All of them are being signed away on day one.
Yes, yes.
We are no longer going to comply or be harmed in that environment. The regulatory environment is being removed. And I'm not making California a third world country. What I'm doing is leveling the playing field for Californians with the rest of the country. We are no longer going to be punished for choosing to live in California or choosing to own a business in California by taking our money from us and preventing that from happening. We are going to make it to where we can be prosperous.
What would you do to protect cities from laws that increase housing density without taking into account the local zoning and regulations?
Yes, we have unfortunately created a couple of laws that have taken away the power of local cities. They have to be repealed. The beautiful part of that is when you expose it, there are a lot of people in the community that just blame city government and say that it's their fault. They don't realize that these disastrous laws were created in Sacramento. When we expose that and we tell everyone, you're all going to be fired up. You're all going to be angry that someone would actually do that. And then you're going to make sure that those people don't get elected again. That's what's going to change their mind. So we have to repeal those laws. The bottom line is this: our government was set up with local control, city control, county control, state control, then federal government, in that order, but reversed. Local has more authority, and it's been stripped away from us over decades, and we absolutely have to make sure, and I will make sure, that it's given back to local government.
This will be
Well-
our last question.
Will the death penalty be reinstated for the hardcore criminals on death row? Clean out death row, wasting our taxpayer money.
Absolutely. We all voted for it unanimously 3 different times. That's what the will of the people is. That was an easy one. Go one more. I'll go one more. That was too easy.
Don't get me in trouble.
You're not. You're not.
When you are governor, will you remove all the freebie illegal aliens are given?
Yes.
Remove the ability to get bank accounts, government IDs like driver's license?
Yes. How many of you get completely free school, money given to you every month for nothing, medical insurance paid for? Why in the world would I be taking your money, your taxpayer money, to give it to people who are in this country illegally? That's what's happening now. To the tune of $30–40 billion per year is given to people who are in this country illegally. That stops the moment I get sworn in. Okay. I want to thank you all very, very much for coming out here today. I want to thank you for those of you who are supporting me. For those of you who are not, you better change real quick or we're going to end up with another bad California. Very good. I appreciate that. Thank you all very much. Make sure you vote.
Okay, if everybody could stay in their seats, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Who's gonna take you over?
Okay. That was great. You did good.
All right, everybody stay in your seats. Unfortunately, we had a hard deadline that we had to adhere to today because he has another meeting that he has to go to. But let me ask you guys, and we're not going to do this in the church. We're not allowed to, but I need to make sure that everybody got a purple ticket when they signed in. Okay. Yeah. Can we get purple tickets for everyone? Here, I have some. And then we're going to step outside and we're going to do a drawing. We have something for you guys. I can do it in here? Okay, the pastor is being gracious and said that we can do it in here. Who has the basket? Oh, Diana, thank you. Okay, what we're giving away today for those who actually took the time to come out to the event, we're going to give away a big screen TV. So make sure you have a purple ticket. Does everybody have a purple ticket? Everybody gets a purple ticket. You only get one, though. If you want more, you have to buy them. Yes, give him a purple ticket up there, too, because you volunteered. Yes, we have all the copies already in here. Give Pastor one, too, because he can turn around and give the TV away. You can give it away. Oh, and just in case you guys haven't seen up and down Hawthorne Boulevard, we have our military banners back up. They'll be up through November. And your pastor, Pastor Jefferson, is out there, and his wife. They were both Air Force veterans. Thank you for your service. And then I'm actually in front of the police department. So if you want to see what if you want to see what I looked like when I was 21. We looked good back then. All righty. We did. A whole lot of poundage less. Are we good? Okay. All right. So everybody is good to go. We'll let Pastor pick. Okay, 939075. Oh, Denny got it. Yay. Okay. So the big screen TV is out in the front where we're bringing it in. Awesome. And while we're bringing it in, I want to say thank you very much to Ingrid Sanchez. She has no idea that I'm saying thank you. She'd probably hit me. But having to put all this together and to work through all these to provide a professional event for you, I was calling Ruben in the middle of the night, early in the morning, trying to solidify everything. And she's such a gracious wife. She allows for that to happen. And I appreciate her, even though she's not paying attention to me. Ingrid, I said thank you. Thank you for letting me borrow Ruben and everything to have put this event on. And like I said, guys, we're going to do more of these, and whoever will come, we'll bring them. If the other side wants to come when we're in the general, you will have both of them here. I promise you. I am not picking one over the other. This is the one that said yes. I can't make them come if they don't want to come. So I'm doing everything I can to get, to bring Hawthorne up and get these people in here to listen to what we have to say. So thank you guys very much for participating. Yes, ma'am.
Please feel free to see us out at the back table, and we'd love to have you join us. We meet every second Saturday of the month. And if you're interested in trying to make a change in terms of voting, in terms of legislation, in terms of candidates, and making this state more responsive to the people, I invite you to join our club, and we invite you every day and every Saturday.
Thank you. And I do see one of the local candidates that you want to corner this individual and go talk to him. Christian, stand up. He is, if you want to change, I'm not saying you have to, but if you want to hear what he has to say, he's actually running against Maxine Waters. We're not endorsing anybody. I'm not endorsing anybody. The city's not endorsing anybody. The church is not endorsing anybody. Please understand that. But you have an opportunity to corner him and make him answer your questions. So feel free to do that. Yes, sir.
I just want to thank you for putting on this event.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you, guys. And that's it for us. We're done at 1:31, right on time.